Welcome back to the Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity. My guest this hour has been Simone Sloan, a business and leadership coach, and we've been talking all about leadership and essence this hour. So, Simone, I want to ask you, you've been doing this for a while. What do you see coming next? Like, are there any trends in leadership that you think that are just nascent right now, just kind of starting, that you think will become more popular? Are there any challenges in leadership that you think people are going to have to start paying more attention to in the future?
I think it's going to be more disruptive balance. And I see that because the leaders are not going to be the ones in the room. The leaders are going to be the people you least expect to have the problem solving. Problem solving is going to be the huge thing in terms of driving a lot of organizations, and in terms of when I say disrupting, also looking at the models of how people are being compensated in terms of that aspect of things, and really looking at how you're going to be valuing the capital that you have in and outside of that room. Right. And really it's going to be around being more vulnerable, because in terms of everything's going to be more unpredictable, and being willing to take your organizations into that space and influencing others to take that leap of faith. Because if you have a problem here and you're not solving it, being willing to put yourself out there and state what your problems are, so that way you can get that input, and it will come from different areas.
So you see sort of more volatility. Like we've already in the last 2, 3, 4, 5 years, the amount of volatility in the world in general, and I don't mean in terms of wars, but just volatility, and I don't mean in the stock market either, but in business, in society, things are changing faster than ever before. You think that's going to continue even more.
Absolutely.
And that's going to call us to be even more transparent than we already are. Just the big thing that came out of in Panama about the laundering money, right, going through it, and how some of the I see now, like on Facebook, like in Iceland, there was like huge protests over it, and calling for the president to resign and things to change. That like things can't stay hidden any longer, can they?
Not anymore.
So if there are any sort of practices or anything you personally are doing or your organization is doing that you're not that proud of, or that you're afraid someone might find out, you really better start to step up and stop it, because people are going to find out about it.
Absolutely. They will find out, they will protest, and they will, and that's where also, in terms of when I say the disruption of how things are, because with all the connectedness that we have in the world through, the internet and technology that we're utilizing, it even becomes even grander in terms of being connected, being able to collaborate, looking at the big ideas and where they're coming from, because they may not be coming from the leader. It would be coming from someone all the way maybe in Malaysia, for example, and how they do things, So in terms of being more open and more sharing around the information, not only that, but being accepting in terms of how different modalities are being executed, right? And then also just in terms of having that broader vision, so not being so myopic about one idea and holding it and being so attached to that idea, but being open about how it's the fluidity of how the outcome will be.
Right. Yeah, it brings to mind when you say all that, how, like, I saw this article about this 14-year-old boy who came up with a system that can clean, like, the plastic out of our oceans, because there's this huge, like, mile-wide plastic island in the South Pacific somewhere that the currents from all the dumping. All the plastic that floats, it like culminates in this one area. And this kid came up with this idea of how to kind of capture it and then like process the plastic, on the oceans. And I forget what it changes into. But like, again, this came from a high school kid. And there's more and more incidences of like even college level kids and coming up with like these amazing solutions to problems that we've been having. And that we need to pay attention to this. Like, it doesn't have to come from a Fortune 500 company.
Absolutely, and that's the point. Absolutely.
Right, and even in terms of changing of a lifestyle and of a couple of new people up on Facebook, Lisa and Kevin, welcome to the show. That like these new apps, like these new way of thinking, like Uber and Airbnb, how like now we're taking our cars and homes. Oops. Sorry about that. Taking our cars and our homes and looking at them as a resource now and being able to share it and actually being able to create a new lifestyle for ourselves from something that, like in the past, just we never would have even thought of.
Absolutely, and the more creativity that comes into play, especially with the example that you've provided with the plastics, that's going to be more and more. And corporations are going to have to take a step back and embrace where those ideas are coming from, embrace where the problem solvings are coming from, because they're not going to look like the typical resume that you want.
Right. And you never know. It could be, if you're working in a normal corporation, it could be somebody in the mailroom,
absolutely,
who says, this has always been a problem, and look, this is what I did, and it, might not be a solution just for your organization, but for a lot of organizations.
Absolutely.
Or if you're working for a nonprofit and you found a great way to fundraise or to reach your volunteers, like that could be something you can apply to your for-profit organization.
Absolutely, and being able to use those best practices to take it to that level, and being open about looking at different industries, looking at how ways countries are looking at problem solving, looking at ways in which who has a problem over here and how can you get it solved over there, and having that collaboration and that openness and sharing. So absolutely.
Wonderful. Oh, that is great. Oh, thank you so much, Simone. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you.
So you have to let our audience know, because I'm sure there's several people who, after listening to you, are like, oh, this is the kind of person I want to work with as a coach. If people want to get in touch with you or find out more about you, how do they find you?
Sure. I'm on LinkedIn. You can look at me at Simone Sloan. I'm also on Twitter, AIM, Inspire, Grow. And you can reach me through my website at Your Choice Coach.
yourchoicecoach.com. Wonderful. And do you have any events, any special gigs coming up?
Actually, I do. In May, I'm doing a personal branding webinar through the Elevate Network. So
Elevate. They're a great network.
Yeah, elevate.com. And I can definitely share the link with your group if you like.
Oh, wonderful. Yeah. So, let us know if you want to learn more about that. It will be posted on your website, I'm assuming?
Yes, it will.
Absolutely. And that's May when? Do you have the date?
Yes, May 3rd.
May 3rd.
12 o'clock noon, Eastern Standard Time.
Ooh, look at all that. All right, great. So just go to yourchoicecoach.com. Wonderful, Simone. Thank you so much for coming on the Conscious Consultant Hour. It's been a pleasure having you.
Thank you so much for having me.
You're quite welcome. Okay. So let me just switch the camera around here to all my peeps. Thank you guys all on Facebook for watching the video. We're going to do more of this in the future. It seemed to work pretty well today. Did you guys like it? I see a couple of thumbs up there. Thank you. And we'll do more of that. And we'll probably do more of that for the whole Talking Alternative Network, now that we kind of have the equipment in place and have the ability to do this, and it seems much more popular. Let us know. Please send us your feedback. You can always reach me at my email address is sam@talkradio.nyc. And for those who weren't here during the beginning of the show, you missed my special announcement, but of course I won't deprive you of that. Yes, me, your conscious consultant, will be giving a TED Talk, or rather a TEDx Talk, on April 26th at TEDx Upper West Side. I don't think they've started selling tickets just yet. There are only 100 spots in the audience, so you got to catch the tickets if you'd like to come. The tickets will be available at TEDx Upper West Side. I will make sure that we get that into our newsletter, and on Facebook we'll post it around. And we're going to be planning on doing more of this kinds of stuff. As you see with both my show and with the network overall, we're looking to grow and expand. I always said to people in the past that I look at Talking Alternative not just as an internet radio station, but as a media company. And I always said, I didn't want to do video until we could do it right. You guys listen to us, you hear the quality of sound, the difference between us and most other internet radio stations is our quality of sound. And so it wasn't until these phone apps started coming out, and now we can live stream video on Facebook. We also have Periscope and Meerkat and all these other, I'm Blab now. So you'll start to see more and more video and more ways that you can find us. I also want to give a little shout out to our intern, Ho Jun, who came to us through the Kaplan School. We're very happy that she joined the team. She's helping out in a number of ways in the background, and I know you guys don't quite see her, but trust me, she is an invaluable member of the team now, and we're glad to have her aboard. And yeah, well, there hopefully might be some other changes and some other things happening, and I will be having a guest either next week or the week after. We're also going to have a little special announcement about him, and you will see that the Talking Alternative family is growing. So everybody, thank you for tuning in. Of course, I will be back live next week, Thursday at 12 noon in my new day and a slot. And if anybody missed any part of today's show, the video will be on my Facebook page. I believe after we finish today's live video stream, it will be saved, or you of course can always go to our archive pages for The Conscious Consultant on talkradio.nyc. Thank you all for watching and listening today, and we will talk to you next week.